Hello and welcome to the Times of India Gold Podcast. 38 years after the astronaut Rakesh Sharma told then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi that India looked "Sare jahan se acha" from space, India is readying to take her first and small step towards a giant leap in space. Yes, today we will dive into the Gaganyaan mission of the Indian Space Research Organisation, aka ISRO. This is a report by Chetan Kumar. With a series of big-ticket missions and proposed reforms in the pipeline, the Indian space sector is hotting up. And the Gaganyaan is exciting because it is India's first human space flight mission. Don't forget, Rakesh Sharma had become the first Indian to travel to space on the erstwhile Soviet Union's Soyuz mission. This time, India will go Atmanirbhar, self-sufficient. The formal announcement of Gaganyaan was made by Prime Minister Narendra Modi during his Independence Day speech on August 15, 2018.
मेरे प्यारे देशवासियों, आज इस लाल किले की प्राचीर से मैं देशवासियों को एक खुशखबरी सुनाना चाहता हूं। हमारा देश अंतरिक्ष की दुनिया में प्रगति करता रहा है, लेकिन हमने सपना देखा है, हमारे वैज्ञानिकों ने सपना देखा है, हमारे देश ने संकल्प किया है कि 2022 जब आजादी के 75 साल होंगे, तब या हो सके तो उससे पहले आजादी का 75 साल मनाएंगे। तब तक मां भारत का कोई संतान, चाहे बेटा हो या बेटी, कोई भी हो सकता है, वे अंतरिक्ष में जाएंगे।
In today's episode, we will break down the Gaganyaan mission into segments. We will hear from two voices. One is former ISRO chairman K. Sivan, under whose term the Gaganyaan was kicked off. The second is the man expected to send Indians to space and bring them back safely, current ISRO chairman S. Somnath. In fact, Somnath describes Gaganyaan as the first baby step for future programs.
It is only the first step of this future human space flight program that we all have envisioned. There has not been any long-term declared program of human presence, Indian human presence in space.
Time for a bit of background here. ISRO has been working on technologies that may be used for a human mission for at least a decade now. Former ISRO chairman K. Sivan explains the initial journey.
It was conceived in ISRO long back, and much before the government's approval, this one. At that time, it was in the name of the Human Space Program. Manned Mission was initial name, then the Human Space Program. And the technology developments required for the Human Space Program, initiation of the technology development happened much earlier, this one, as a part of research and development program, this one. That is like always ISRO was in the future program, the research and development they'll initiate much in advance.
Apart from ISRO, many other agencies like the DRDO, IISc, IIA, the IITs and academic institutions are working on the Gaganyaan domestically. ISRO also has tie-ups with foreign organizations like Russia's Glavkosmos, the Australian Space Agency, the French Space Agency, among others, for various requirements. Former ISRO chief Sivan explains why adding humans to the mix has added to the complexity.
Because which otherwise the space systems were designed for optimum performance. This one, that either satellites or launch vehicle, optimum performance, and the safety of the system, reliability of the system. That way we have a new dimension to the whole system, the human rating of the each system, not optimum, human rating of the system. The second part is, that is, all along our systems are autonomous. It is no intervention even from the ground. Whereas when we are bringing the Gaganyaan human in the loop, that there will be a man-machine interaction will be always there, this one. That way, this system more complex. That is the second part. The third part is, that is, that it is not only launching the human to the space, to bring them back safely also to the earth. And this one. This is third part of the system, complexity. The fourth one is that the human science, the physiology and probiotics, many that human-related science, human science also will be a part of the system, wherein we are right now that ISRO was not part of these systems are not part of the ISRO's program. That is the second part. And third part for the human science part, we really look for that expertise from the different departments other than ISRO. That is nationally and internationally. This one. We have collaborations, we have that way the support we got national laboratories as well as international system to augment or to enhance our knowledge that the science, human science system. That is a thing. So this way, the whole program is looked in a different dimension, different direction, and it's become not only contained within ISRO. This has a expanded vision of making use of the other the labs and the research institutions in India as well as abroad for making the system feasible.
Under Gaganyaan, the plan is to send at least 2 humans to space, make them orbit Earth and bring them back safely. The Indian Air Force's Institute of Aerospace Medicine, or IAM, has helped ISRO shortlist the astronauts. While the astronauts have been finalized, the number of orbits they will do is not yet certain. That means it's too early to tell you how many days they'll spend up there. What we can tell you about the 4 shortlisted astronauts is that they are all male and they're all test pilots of the Air Force. They completed basic training in Russia, which began in February 2020 at the Gagarin Research and Test Cosmonaut Training Center in Moscow. After more than a year of training, the astronauts returned to India in 2021. ISRO eventually plans to build a full-fledged astronauts training facility for future human spaceflight missions. ISRO Chairman Somnath explains the complexity.
See, whenever any new agency develops a human flight capability, they go through various steps of building that capability. See, before the real human-rated vehicles fly, we have to fly the critical aspects of this technology in a low-cost option.
Now, let's look at the launch vehicle that will put these astronauts in space. ISRO will be using the GSLV Mark III. The Vikram Sarabhai Space Center, or the VSSC, which is building it, is already in the process of human rating the vehicle. That means testing whether it is safe for carrying humans. The VSSC has completed several successful tests on the launch vehicle. This will be a continuous process. ISRO Chairman Somnath tells us more.
The GSLV Mark III, when we defined it way back in 2002 onwards, we have been having this mind that one day human launch vehicle program. So that means the vehicle which we develop for next 20-30 years must have the features of a human-rated launch vehicle. So this has been well thought about. So many aspects of the vehicle were addressed at that time. For example, the acceleration during the flight shall be less than 4G. The dynamic pressure due to the flight in atmosphere should be such and such number. The low acoustic, that is noise which is created outside the rocket, should be designed for the crew to survive. And various redundancy features and safety features in the rockets are addressed.
That brings us to the crew and service modules. These together will form what's called the orbital module, aka the spacecraft. ISRO has completed the design phase for both the service and crew modules. An important test of the service module propulsion system was also successful. For the crew escape, which is a critical part of astronaut safety, ISRO has developed a special test vehicle to test multiple aborted missions. ISRO Chairman Somnath throws light on this critical aspect of the Gaganyaan.
So, together this vehicle plus the crew escape system, we will be undertaking a mission soon. Our target is not to delay further. It is at least middle of this year, 2022. And then demonstrate the first of abort conditions. That means we will intentionally cause an anomaly or abort and then allow the crew module to come out of it, do the tumbling maneuvers, then deploy the parachutes, land in a place in the sea.
So there you have it. ISRO is totally burning the midnight oil to test each and every detail of the mission. from training the astronauts to testing each component of the spacecraft, including ensuring the astronauts' safety in case of an aborted mission. And it's not just the Gaganyaan. With 2 classes of rockets, successful missions to Moon and Mars, and science missions like AstroSat, India is now among an elite club of nations. But, as ISRO would be the first to agree, India still a long way to go before catching up with the likes of the US, Japan, Russia and China. Thank you for listening to the Times of India Gold podcast on the Gaganyaan, India's first manned space mission. Stay tuned, because in episodes to come, we'll take you through various ISRO missions, including one to the moon and another to the sun. We will also outline the fascinating history of the ISRO and peep into its future too. This was a report by Chetan Kumar.